Hey friends, welcome back to Unpolished and Pursuing, the space where we give ourselves permission to grow, heal, and move forward with God, even if it doesn't look perfect. I'm your host, Alexis, and today's episode is personal. We're talking about discernment, especially when it comes to who gets to stay in your life once you found Christ. Because the truth is, not everyone from your past belongs in your future, and healing requires boundaries. So let me start with a story. I recently reconnected with someone from my past, a person I was close with back in high school. 16 years ago, we were best friends and at one point romantically involved. And for years, even after we broke up, he always found a way back into my life. It's really my fault. Every time I made it clear that I did not want a romantic relationship, but every time we still ended up connecting and it still turned messy. It was disrespectful, there were arguments, and there were always misaligned intentions. But this last time was different for us because I was different. I had become a mom. I stepped into a new chapter with responsibility, faith, and clarity. And yet, despite all that growth, I still found myself slipping into the same dysfunction with him, with the same arguments, the same disrespect. And really, that hit me hard. I'm thinking to myself, why am I entertaining someone who does not reflect the life that I'm trying to build today? So let's go to scripture, because God warns us about this, and I should have been listening. But in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, it does say, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness?" I'm not saying he was evil or nothing like that. I mean, he could be, but I'm not saying he's evil. I'm just saying that our values is no longer aligned, and they hadn't for the past 16 years, to be honest. I realized that I've been called to light, and I can't keep trying to fix people who aren't even trying to grow. Or in this case, people who I feel like are pretending to grow just to get next to me. And here's the thing about discernment. It doesn't always come in the form of a red flag. Sometimes it comes just as a pattern that repeats itself until you get tired enough to break it. So I had to make a choice, a very hard choice, for my child, for myself, and for my co-parenting relationship, which I value very much. I couldn't keep giving space to someone who lacked purpose, direction, and simple respect. So I said what I needed to say via text, truthfully, kindly, and firmly, and then I blocked myself from his world. Because closure isn't always about a conversation. I wanted to have a conversation, but I came to that conclusion that everything doesn't need a conversation. Sometimes it's just a decision. So in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, it says to guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. And I feel like that touched me. I had to protect my peace, my progress, and my purpose. Speak to him. Not out of bitterness or anything like that, or maybe a little bit, but not out of bitterness, but out of obedience to where God is leading me. So here's what I want you to know. When you say yes to Christ, you're also saying no to anything that keeps you bound to who you used to be. Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is." That's one of the first scriptures that I've ever learned, and I swear it has stuck with me. God gave me clarity, not just about him, but about myself. I've outgrown the need to hold on to people just because they're familiar. If someone's presence keeps pulling you backwards, that's not love. That's distraction. Sis, it's okay to walk away. Sir, it is okay to walk away. It's okay to block, and it's okay to outgrow. Your healing journey, your walk with God, and your peace are too valuable to be compromised by someone who was never meant to go where you're going. You're not being mean, you're being discerning. Okay? Thanks for being here for another real and raw episode of Unpolished and Pursuing. If you're struggling to let someone go or needing clarity on a relationship, I pray this episode brings you strength and permission to choose better. But share this with someone who needs it. Until next time, keep growing, keep guarding your peace, and remember, everybody can't stay.